Hi, beautiful. Welcome back. This is it. The 12 exercises to help you master a healthy lunge. We're bringing all the exercises we've learned over the last few weeks, coming together as a whole for a full routine. If you haven't done the previous routines, I highly recommend that you go and check them out because these videos do build one upon the other. As you know, the lunge is one of the most important functional movements to master. Not only does it strengthen your lower body, which helps reduce the risk of injury to your knees and ankles, it also improves your balance, your coordination, and your posture. But you use it every day. Think about when you get up, when you get down, when you push, when you pull, when you need to change direction or slow your body down. All of that happens because of this functional movement. So what are you going to need for today's routine? You're going to want a roller, a dowel, a pillow, and a step stool. We're going to start with the exercises you've already learned, and we're going to add 3 new ones at the end. Are you ready? Let's get to it. We're going to start with the foam roller. You're going to be rolling out your quads, mainly where your quads attach to your iliotibial band. You're going to roll out your right leg first. You want to start right at the top of the hip, like where your pocket would be in your pants. And you're gonna gently roll forward and backward there just a couple of times. And then you're gonna begin to roll down the thigh. Just a little bit at a time, rocking back and forth as you roll, taking it nice and slow. You wanna roll from the top down to the knee, but obviously you don't wanna roll directly on your knee. You may notice little speed bumps as you roll back and forth. That's normal. You may notice some areas feeling tighter than others. That's fine. You can always roll out a little bit more in the area that feels tighter. You want to roll as slowly as you can so that you can get deeper into the muscle. If it seems really painful for you, it's possible that you're using a roller that's too dense. You don't want it to hurt so much that you won't do this, right? So you can always purchase a softer roller, which will make it much more manageable. When you're done rolling out the right side, you're gonna go ahead and switch and roll out your left. Again, starting at the top by the greater trochanter, where you would have a pocket in your pants, rolling back and forth there a couple of times, and then start to roll down the side of your leg. When you notice a spot that feels tight, you want to stop and roll back and forth on it, noticing those speed bumps, rolling as slowly as you can, all the way down to the knee. Of course, don't roll on the knee. Again, you want to try to roll as slowly as possible so that you can get deeper into the muscle. It will be more effective. And when you're done, you can come up to sitting and you may even notice the difference right away. Next, you're going to go into an ankle mobility exercise. This is where you're going to want your dowel. You're going to place your left foot in front in a nice narrow stance, right leg behind. You want to make sure that your right foot is in line with the back of your hip. You want to align the dowel with your 4th toe, really anchoring down into your left foot. You're going to drive your left knee forward as far as you can, just to the point where you feel your left heel wanting to come up off the mat. And then you'll come back to your starting position. You want to make sure that you keep your body nice and upright as you do this. You want to do as many reps as you need until you feel an increased range of motion in your ankle. And when you're ready, you can switch sides. You're going to place your right leg in front, left leg behind, making sure that your left foot is lined up with the back of your hip. You want a nice narrow stance, but you do want to be able to stay upright in the body. Anchoring the dowel in line with your fourth toe, driving your knee forward on the outside of the dowel, going as far as you can, right to the point where you feel the heel wanting to lift up off the mat and then come back to home base. You want to do it as many times as you need until you feel that increased range of motion. You may feel a stretch in the low calf right by the Achilles tendon. That's normal, it's good. Increasing that range of motion, yeah? After you've done the amount needed to increase your range of motion, you're done. Nice work. Next, you're gonna go into the bridge. You're gonna lay down on your back, knees bent, feet flat, hands down at your side. You wanna start by engaging deep in the abs, hollowing out the belly, going into a coccyx curl, imprinting your lower back onto the mat. And then you want to peel one vertebra at a time off the mat as you go up into the bridge, opening up the front of your hips, feeling your glutes engage as you anchor down into both feet as evenly as possible. At the top of the bridge, making sure that you're feeling your glutes more than your hamstrings. That's very important. And then on your next exhale, you want to come down one vertebra at a time, keeping the back of your neck long, your shoulders open, hollowing out the belly, finding that coccyx curl again before coming back into home base position. And then you're going to repeat that. And you want to do as many bridges as you need until you feel that your glutes are really fired up and working well, and that your hamstrings are working synergistically with the glutes, but your glutes are the dominant muscle. You want to feel how all of that comes together. So again, do as many bridges as you need until you feel like your glutes and hamstrings are working optimally together. It may be different for each of us, and that's fine. Do what's best for your body. And once you feel like your glutes and hamstrings are working synergistically together, you're gonna go ahead and add in the knee fold. Standing on your right leg first, you wanna do up to 30 knee folds for each side. I've broken it down into 2 sets of 15, but you can break it down in a way that's best for you. I've also chosen to come down after doing each side to give my body a rest, to reset, to make sure that I'm keeping really good form. I recommend that. It's a really nice way to set yourself up for success. As you're doing the bridge with knee fold, you really want to anchor down into that standing leg, trying to open up that standing leg hip, really feel that glute turn on and engage. You want to feel that glute working more than your hamstring. You can always play with how high your bridge is. The higher it is, the harder it is for your glute, so you can decide for yourself what works best. You want to try to keep your pelvis nice and stable, so you got to use your abs as well, using your exhale to engage navel to spine. You should definitely feel that burn of the booty. After you've done your reps, go ahead, come down one vertebra at a time. Next, you're going to go into single leg bridge with pulses. Begin by engaging in your abs, hollowing out your belly, going into the coccyx curl, trying to peel one vertebra at a time off the mat as you anchor down into your right foot. Only bridge up as high as you can, feeling your glute working more than your hamstring. Once at the top, you're going to go into the pulses. You want to do up to 30 pulses. I have broken it down into 2 sets of 15, but you can break it down as is best for your body. After you've done the amount of reps you want to on the right side, go ahead, come down one vertebra at a time. Starting with the coccyx curl, hollowing out the belly, imprinting your lower back into the mat, bridging up one vertebra at a time as you anchor down into your left foot, pushing up through the left hip, really feeling your glute engage. With each pulse, you want to feel like you're extending the front of your hip. Try to keep your pelvis as stable as possible and make sure that you're not pushing up through your upper back. The back of your ribs and shoulders should feel nice and anchored on the mat. After you've done your reps, go ahead, come down one vertebra at a time. Starting with the coccyx curl, hollowing out the belly, imprinting your lower back into the mat, bridging up one vertebra at a time. If you start to feel your hamstring working more than your glute, you want to stop and rest. When you're done, coming down one vertebra at a time, getting deep into the abs, coming all the way back down into neutral. Starting with the coccyx curl, hollowing out the belly, imprinting your lower back into the mat, bridging up one vertebra at a time. Adding in the pulses. Each pulse, engage from the glute. You're working on that hip extension. You're going to feel that booty burn for sure. Feeling the booty working more than the hamstring. When you're done with your reps, coming back down one vertebra at a time. And after you've done 30 reps for each side, you can go ahead and stretch out your glutes. You're going to cross your right leg over the left, pulling into your chest, shifting your knees over to the left a little bit until you feel that stretch get into your right glute. You want to be here for at least 30 seconds, really giving an opportunity for your muscles to release into the stretch and recoup some of their range of motion. Stay in the stretch as long as you need, and when you're ready, go ahead and switch sides. Crossing the left leg over the right, pulling into the chest, shifting your knees over to the right a little bit, feeling that stretch go into your left glute. With each exhale, just gently trying to hug your thighs in closer to your chest. Please be here for at least 30 seconds, giving your muscles an opportunity to release. Tight glutes can lock up your hips, which then can lock up your lower back. I don't think you want that, so it's good to take a moment to stretch out the glutes. And then next, you're gonna go into side leg bicycle. You may want a pillow to support your head. You're gonna lay down on your left side, checking that your head is in alignment with your shoulders and your pelvis. You wanna make sure you're engaged in your abs, creating as much space between your waistline and the mat as possible. You're gonna bring the top leg up, flex the foot, bring it front as far as you can, working your hip flexion, feeling that stretch in your hamstring. Bending the knee, extending the leg back behind you, really lifting in the abs, opening up that right hip, feeling that right glute really fire up. Come through home base position and repeat. You want to do up to 15 times in this direction. Really working your full range of motion. You want your pelvis to stay as still as possible, and watch that your spine is not rotating back and forth. You're really trying just to move the leg in the hip, working on increasing the mobility of your hip and the flexibility of your muscles. After you've done your 15 in that direction, you're going to reverse it. You're gonna bring that leg up and you're gonna bring it back first. And then you're gonna bend the knee, bicycle through to the front, and then extend that leg back behind you and repeat. You're gonna really feel that booty burn if you're tapping into the exercise correctly. You may also feel like your leg starts to feel heavier as you're moving through the exercise, and that's normal. Definitely working that outer thigh and glute. Remember to keep your abs active. Keep that space in between your waistline and the mat. You want to keep your pelvis still, your spine stable. You're trying just to move the leg and the hip, right? It should feel pretty challenging as you're doing higher reps. Definitely getting that booty burn, right? And then after you've done your 15, go ahead and rest and then switch sides. Laying down on your right side, making sure your head is in line with your shoulders and your pelvis. Extending your top leg out. You can keep the bottom leg bent if you want, or you can extend them both out straight. Anchoring down into that bottom foot, picking up the top leg, flexing to the front, bending the knee, pointing the foot, extending the leg back behind you, and repeating that. Doing 15 reps in this direction. You want to work your full range of motion, really finding the flexion of the hip and the extension of the hip. Use your abs, creating that space between your waistline and the mat. Keeping your pelvis nice and stable, watching that your spine isn't rotating back and forth. After you've done your 15 reps, you'll go ahead and switch sides. So when you're ready, bringing that leg back first, feeling that glute fire up, opening up that left hip, bending the knee, finding the hip flexion, flexing your foot, feeling that hamstring stretch, and repeating. Moving with your breath, feeling that booty burn, keeping your pelvis stable, keeping your spine still, staying engaged in the abs, really working the mobility of the hip, the flexibility of the muscles. Your leg may start to feel heavy, definitely getting tired, feeling that burn. That's all good. Really working the outer thigh and the glute. You're definitely gonna feel it. You're gonna feel that burn. And then when you're done with your reps, you can go ahead and rest. Nicely done. From there, you're gonna go into the pigeon pose stretch. You're gonna place your pillow under your left hip. You want to bend your left knee. You want to have your left knee on the outside of your left shoulder. You want to try to have your shin as parallel to the edge of your mat as possible. You're going to lengthen your right leg back behind you, foot flat on the mat. You want to try to be as nice and aligned in your spine as possible. And then you're going to come forward and you're going to feel that stretch in the back of your left hip. It should feel like a pretty good stretch. And you want to be here for a minimum of 30 seconds. You really want to give an opportunity for your muscles to release. See if you can soften your face and your jaw and your neck while you're in the stretch, breathing into the areas that feel tight. And at your own pace, you can gently come out of the stretch and switch sides. Switching sides, placing the pillow under your right hip, bending that right knee. You want your knee on the outside of your right shoulder, lengthening the left leg out back behind you, foot flat, lining your spine up as best as possible. And then coming forward, feeling that stretch get into your right glute and hip. Staying here for a minimum of 30 seconds. See if you can relax your face, your jaw, and your neck. Gently trying to get deeper into the stretch, letting your upper body feel heavier and heavier with each exhale. Next, you're going to go into the modified inline lunge stretch. You're going to have your left leg in front, using your right leg as your support, curling your right toes under, making sure that your foot is in line with the back of your hip. You want to bring your left foot in as close and as in line with the right knee as possible. You want to be able to keep your upper body upright, and you want to be able to keep your balance. You're going to focus on the extension of your right hip, feeling the engagement of your right glute. You're going to feel that stretch all down the right thigh. That's good. You want that. You're trying to open up the hip, stretch the quad, engage the glute. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and switch sides. Having your right leg in front, left leg behind, curling the left toes under, making sure that your left foot is in line with the back of your hip, bringing your right foot as close and in line with your left knee as possible, being able to stay upright. Definitely want to feel like you're anchored down through your left toes and the right foot, yeah? Engaging in the abs, working on the hip extension of your left hip, feeling that left glute engage, feeling the stretch all along the front of the left thigh. Keep trying to open up that left hip, increasing the glute engagement that you feel on the left side. You can always adjust yourself as needed while you're in the stretch. You do want to find that challenge point. And after 30 seconds, you can come down and rest. Nice work. Next, you're going to go into the half kneeling rotation with the dowel. You're going to have your right leg in front, your left leg behind. You can curl your left toes under or have your foot flat, whatever feels more stable for you. You want to have your right leg as in line and close to your left knee as possible, keeping an upright position. You're going to hold the dowel horizontally behind you. The front foot should feel light and relaxed, as though you could almost lift that foot up off the mat. You definitely don't want to be front weighted in this exercise. From here, you're going to rotate to the right as far as you can, and then rotate to the left as far as you can, and repeat. And you want to do 15 sets. You want to stay very active in that back left leg, feeling the glute fired up, feeling the opening of the left hip. You still may feel that stretch going down the front of your left thigh. That's fine. Be aware of how much weight you have on your right foot. Remember, it should feel light, as though it could come up off the mat. Your body is going to want to transition forward and be heavy on that front leg, so be aware of that. It's a very normal reaction. After you've done your 15 sets, you can go ahead and switch sides. You're going to have your left leg in front, right leg behind. Make sure that your right foot is in line with the back of your right hip, bringing that left foot as in line and close to your right knee as possible, staying upright in the body. Placing the dowel horizontally behind you, rotating to your left, and then rotating to your right, doing 15 sets. Remember, you want to stay very light on that front foot, as though it could come up off the mat. Really feeling that right glute fired up, lots of lift in the abs. You may still feel that stretch in the front of the right thigh, that's fine. Remembering to breathe, softening your face and your jaw. When you're done, go ahead and rest, and then at your own time, go in for a second round. Right leg in front, left leg behind. Make sure that your left foot is in line with the back of your hip, bringing that right foot as in line and close to your left knee as possible, staying upright in the spine, placing the dowel horizontally behind you. Engaging in that left glute, feeling the lift of the abs, stretching out the front of the thigh. Rotating each direction for 15 sets. Remembering to breathe. You may really feel that burn of that back leg, the thigh and the glute, and that's good. You want that. You definitely want to feel your glute working for you. Remember, try not to be heavy-footed with that right foot. Imagine you could lift up that right foot from the mat. After you've done your 15 sets, you can go ahead and rest. Take as long of a break as you need before you go to the other side. Okay, you got this. Last time. Left leg and foot, right leg behind. Make sure that your right foot is in line with the back of your hip. Bringing that left foot in line and as close to your right knee as possible as you stay upright in the spine. Placing the dowel horizontally behind you, rotating each direction for 15 sets. Remembering to breathe, engage in the abs, work that right glute, feel that stretch down the front of the thigh. You may feel that burn, that's good, you want that. Remember to keep the weight light on that left foot. Try not to be heavy-footed. And when you're done with your reps, you can go ahead and rest. Nicely done. Next, you're going to go into the step up. This is where you're going to use your stool. Starting with the right foot, you're going to step up, bring both feet onto the stool, step down with the right, bring the left leg down, and then switch sides. You're going to do 10 sets, and we're going to do 3 rounds. So that's a total of 30 sets. Of course, you can break it down as you wish to suit your body's needs. That's absolutely fine. As you're stepping, you want to keep your upper body as upright as possible. You want to feel your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes working for you, and you want to feel the help coming from your abs. Remembering to breathe with each exhale, thinking navel to spine. When you're done with your first set, give yourself enough time to rest before going into the second round. You can always pause the video as needed. It's important to pay attention to your form and to move at a pace that works for your body. And when you're ready, going into the second round. During the second set, you may notice that your legs are getting tired. That's normal, that's fine. You're building your strength, you're building your endurance. Make sure when you step on the stool, your whole foot is anchored on the stool. You want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the height that you're using. You can always start shorter if you want to and work your way up. Make sure you're breathing, using your abs. Definitely feeling those legs working. And when you're done, give yourself enough time to rest before going into the last round. All right, this is it. When you're ready, it's time for the last round. You got this. Here you go. It's okay if you're feeling tired. Like I said, you're working your endurance, you're building your strength. Work at a pace that feels good for you. Keeping your body upright, feeling the quad, the glute, and the hamstring working together, feeling the support of the abs, using your breath with each exhale, navel to spine, letting your arms hang naturally. Feeling that slight movement in the arms, that's good. You've got this, you're almost done. And after you've done your reps, go ahead and rest. Wow, nice work. You're gonna go into the half lunge. Make sure your right foot is in line with the back of your hip. You wanna bring your left foot in as close and in line with your right knee as feels doable. You're going to do that 10 times. After you've done your 10 reps, go ahead and rest. And when you're ready, you can start the second side. Really anchoring down into both feet. You wanna keep your upper body upright. Definitely want to feel that left glute fired up. You want to do that 10 times. After you've done your 10 reps, go ahead and rest as long as you need, and then you're going to do another round. Starting that second set, you may already feel the heat. You may already feel your heart pumping. That's good. Building your strength, building your endurance. You may get tired faster. That's all normal. Do what feels right and safe for you. After you've done your 10 reps, go ahead and rest for as long as you need. Setting yourself up nicely for the second side. Opening up that left hip, feeling that glute fire up. Really pushing into the feet as you go into the half lunge. You got this. You may catch yourself a little off balance. That's okay. After doing your 10 reps, go ahead and rest. When you're ready, setting yourself up for success, opening up the right hip, feeling that right glute fire up, really anchored down into that right foot. Using both legs to come up into the half lunge, coming back down and repeating 10 times. After your 10 reps, go ahead and rest. Setting yourself up nicely, feeling that left glute engaged, opening up that left hip. Only go as high as you feel capable. You may feel that burn in the thigh, that's normal. Really tapping into your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. After your 10 reps, go ahead and rest. Okay, you're gonna go into the forward lunge, bringing everything together for this moment. We're gonna do a total of 30 reps for each leg. You can break it down however you want, do what feels best and right for you. Work at your own pace, rest as much as you need, honor where your body is at. You can always work your way up to doing 30 reps for each side. That's absolutely fine. As you're working, stay very anchored in your standing leg, the back leg. Try not to let it ever come up off the mat. Feel that back leg glute working for you. Feel the support of the abs. Obviously, your front leg is going to be working a lot. You don't have to think about that too much. Think more about what's happening with the back leg, the back glute, and your abs. Use your breath with each exhale, engaging navel to spine. Let your arms move. Use them to help you balance. Use them for momentum. Not every lunge is going to be perfect. Maybe your knee doesn't go down all the way. Maybe you lose your balance a little bit. That's absolutely fine. Especially as you get tired, it's harder to keep really great form. Just make sure you're not getting too sloppy. You are really going to feel this in your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings. Your heart's going to be beating. You're going to feel the heat. You're going to sweat a little bit. It's good. It's good stuff. You're building your strength. You're building your endurance. And after you've done your 30 reps, that's it. We're gonna finish with a quad stretch. Oh my gosh, after all of those lunges, this quad stretch is gonna feel so good. Laying down on your belly, holding on to your right foot, pulling the foot in towards your booty, pushing your hips into the mat, engaging your abs, imagining your belly button never wants to touch the mat. Resting your forehead on your other hand. Be here for a minimum of 30 seconds. You've been working your legs a lot. Your quads really need this stretch. Give them time to release. Remembering to breathe. Letting go of any tension you may be holding in your face and your jaw. And when you're ready, switching sides. Being active in the stretch, pushing your hips into the mat, engaging your abs. Again, be here for a minimum of 30 seconds. Releasing your face and jaw. Breathing into the back and side of your ribs. And then when you're ready, letting both legs release down, placing your forehead on your hands and just hanging out here in this pose, letting your breath settle down. Give yourself time to transition out of the workout. Taking nice breaths in, breathing into the back and side of your ribs. And then when you're ready, transitioning into a child's pose, stretching out your lower back, pressing your hips down toward your heels. It should feel nice. It should feel like a gentle stretch for your lower back. Breathing into the back and side of your ribs, softening your face and your jaw. And then when you're ready, come to an upright seated position. That's it. You did it. Congratulations. Give yourself a high five for sure, because that is an intense workout when you put all of the exercises together. I don't know about you, but I feel my legs for sure, my booty, my thighs, my hamstrings. I got a little sweat going. My heart was pumping. It was a good workout. I love that you're here taking time for yourself to learn how to move well and feel good in your body. I suggest doing this routine 4 times a week while you're mastering your flexibility, mobility, and strength. If you can't do the whole routine, I understand. It's a lot. Do what you feel you are weakest at. Remember, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Modify any exercises as needed to suit your body. Do what feels right and safe for you. As you're building your strength and your endurance, getting your reps up to 30 times, use this routine to help guide you, to remind you of the cues, to make sure that you're keeping good form, and just to know that we're in this together. If you have any questions, requests, or suggestions, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. May you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Special shout out to my Vital 7 stars. Thank you for making this video possible.